Hey guys, welcome back to AIR Reptile Rescue. Today we're going to talk about proper handling and how often to handle your ball python. And we're also going to show you how to properly handle and how to put them back in their enclosures and take them out. We're going to run through this pretty quick so that I don't keep you guys too long. First, we're going to talk about how to properly pick up your snake. Whenever we do this, make sure that you support their body. Don't let their body just hang there or droop, because they can slip out of your hand and fall. Next, we're going to talk about how to properly hold them and how to tell if your snake is comfortable being held. With Patty, it's going to be a little bit easier. With Xena, it's going to be a little bit harder. So we're going to do both snakes to show you guys. Next, we're going to discuss how to spot the signs of stress while holding your snake and when to put the snake back in the enclosure. Your snake gets overstressed, they're going to let you know. There's going to be signs of it that you're going to see. Next, we're going to talk about how to properly put your snake back in the enclosure without harming the snake. I will show you personally how I do it. These things that I talk about in this video are all personal experience. It's not, hey, I'm a reptile expert. I learn new stuff every day. I'm just teaching you guys this from personal experience on how I do things with my animals to show you guys that this is the best way that I feel to do it. Next, we're gonna talk about when not to handle your snake. I'm gonna run through pretty quick on how to do it. And with that being said, we recommend not handling your snake for 48 to 72 hours after eating. It gives them time to properly digest their meal. If you handle them too soon after eating, it can cause them to regurgitate their food, which can harm them. It will hurt them and stuff like that. Also, if they're shedding, we don't handle during shedding at all. Once I notice my snakes are in shed, I don't mess with them. It's just like if you have a sunburn and somebody puts their hand on your shoulder and you have a sunburn, it's going to hurt. I feel that's the same thing with my snakes. From personal experience with Xena, just recently, I didn't realize she was going in the shed. I went to pick her up, and she was real darty, trying to move away from me. She was flinching a lot, like it was hurting her whenever I touched her. And then I realized she was going in the shed, so I left her be. Like I said, please keep that in mind about the shedding. We're going to talk more about shedding in a future video and feeding and all that on handling during that time. Our next video that we're going to talk about too is going to be how to recognize body language, and then behind that is the difference between defensive and aggressive and their temperament, and how to respect those two body languages. But let's head to the back, guys. We're going to show you real quick. I'm not going to take them out too long, but I'm going to show you how to approach them and stuff like that and get them out. Patty's going to be my first one. She's my easiest to deal with. Let's actually see where she's at. She is under her cold hide. So what I always do whenever I go to take her out, if you guys notice with her hide, it's a coconut hide. I grab it from the top and kind of cradle the sides so that the hole on her thing is not open. So if she's being defensive or aggressive, she doesn't strike and go through the hole and bite me. She's actually not being defensive. She knows who's coming. But as you guys can see, I have her body supported to where it wasn't drooping and it wasn't dropping down. As you can see, she's actually, now she's going to start to relax and move around. She is more or less my relaxed snake. Now, one of the things to look for is if you grab your snake out and they're laying like this and all of a sudden they start darting and trying to get out of your hands or trying to get away from you, put them back in their enclosure. That just means they don't want to be handled. Give them time to rest and relax and make sure they have their space for a minute and then try it again. I'm actually going to move her hide back so that she has it there. I don't always put her back on her cold side like where I found her at just now. I let her go over there by herself. But whenever I put her in, as you guys can see, she's all chilled out. She's relaxed. She's not breathing heavy. She's not darty. She's not trying to get away from me. She's laid out, relaxing in my hand. With her, it's pretty simple because of how small she is. For parents that get your kids snakes, get them something that's small like Xena.
Patty.
Or Patty, I mean. Get them somebody small like Patty. And whenever you have that snake, as you guys can see, I can hold her in one hand. She lays there. She's relaxed. If she starts to move around like she's doing, I go to support her head to where she can move around. And as you guys can see, she just kind of slithers her body around. That's her wanting to explore. That's her saying, hey, I'm out. I'm being handled. I'm pretty happy what's going on around.
Guys, there is a reason we recommend this size for kids. Especially because they are much easier to handle than a snake that's Xena size. They will grow to Xena size eventually, but by that time your kid will be able to handle it.
Yeah, like the other half saying, start out small. Give your little ones a chance to truly get used to handling their snake. Once they get used to handling their snake, they will learn how to properly pick it up, how to properly hold it. As you guys can see, I'm letting her do her thing. If she is like this, I'm going to pick up her head right here for a second and show you guys. But if her body is hanging like this, I've still got her butt supported. So if she decides to move pretty quick across my hand, I have a hold of her to where I can take that hand and swing it back around away from her butt and grab underneath and still have her supported. As you guys can see from both of my hands, her whole body is now supported to where if she goes to move quick, she doesn't just drop and hit the floor. That would be something very painful for her and very dangerous that can cause injury internally and kill her. So keep that in mind, guys, whenever you get your babies a snake. Just teach them how to handle it, how to hold it. Let them watch this video with you. We love doing this for the kids. So this is something that we love for them to see. My cousin actually doesn't like snakes, so she's probably not going to get one, but she lets her kids watch these videos all the time. She loves seeing my videos come out so the kids can learn more about snakes.
She also loves watching us feed, so...
Yeah, she loves watching us feed our snakes. But, as you guys can see, I'm letting her do her thing. Let her move around. Also, one of the things you're going to want to look for, too, I'm going to see if Patty will do it for me to where she will bring that butt up. Come on. Usually, she likes to wrap her butt up around my hand. Let's see if I can kind of encourage it this time.
There she goes.
There. Nope.
Nope. She won't let go.
But usually what she'll do is she'll wrap her body around my hand and she'll hold onto my body, onto my hand with her tail and her back end. And if she's feeling like moving around, she'll move around. But I always make sure that her body is supported. I don't let any part of her body just hang. I can't stand whenever people do that because you take that risk of your snake slipping out of your hand and falling and hurting themselves.
Guys, this goes for no matter what snake you have. Some are more darty and harder to handle. We'll get to those later.
I'll show you that with Xena in just a second. She's going to be a little bit more movie and stuff like that. But let's go ahead and put Patty in. I'm going to show you guys, especially you kids, whenever you go to put them in. She's probably going to be, I don't want to go in right now. Or she might actually go in. There we go. She actually went in easier than usual. But I'm going to let her lay her head on her substrate first. And now she's going to move around on her own. I'm not letting her body go until I know it's safely on the floor of her enclosure. As you guys can see, I'm gently laying her body down. I'll stand her decoration back up in a minute. But I did not let her body drop. You let it drop, she's got that chance of being hurt. Alright, Missy.
And just for you parents who are saying, well, how small should I get my kids? My first ball python that I owned personally was actually smaller than Patty when I got her. So it just kind of depends on you, on the age of your kid, but I would not recommend getting a sub-adult or an adult.
Yeah, and the difference between Patty and Xena, Xena is a sub-adult. And I'm going to show you what that basically means. You can usually tell by size and age. With Xena, you're going to see the difference whenever you see her size. And apparently my scale wants to come on, even though it's not time to be used.
Guys, the scale is just very sensitive, so...
Now, whenever you go to reach in, like I said, Xena is a defensive or aggressive snake. She will strike out. I have reached in before to get her water bowl not thinking, and she has struck at me trying to get through the hole on her hide. So what I do whenever I reach in is I grab her hide from the top and I remove it like this. I remove it from the sides. I do not remove it from the front.
And there's the reason why we don't remove from the front, because she is already in the position that she's telling us, hey, don't mess with me. But once you get her out, she's normally okay.
Now, I'm going to do an example, guys, of one of the ways that she's going to show defense. It's not to stress her out, guys. I don't want her stressed. But if you guys watch my hand, as I put it in, you'll see that she's moving her head back and she's watching me.
She's actually getting ready to strike with
yeah.
the way her head
See
is.
how she's acting? She's getting defensive and she's letting me know, hey, I'm ready to strike. Don't mess with me. So please respect that. Usually what I do is I'll remove my hand from the enclosure. I'll give her a few minutes. Then I'll go back in and try again. If you still have issues and they do strike, put the hide back over them, close the enclosure back up, give them about 30 minutes, then go back in and try again.
And guys, new owners, I mean, if you're an experienced owner, you can do that test because you've probably been bit, but new owners, please, if you see that, do not put your hand in front of the snake like he just did.
Yeah, please don't, because they will strike and bite you. Now, what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to touch her back. And as you can see, now she's relaxing her butt and the back end of her body. She knows that she's being petted. So you see how she's being more relaxed. She's kind of moving and relaxing her back end. See, she knows my hand's there, but she's not even bothered now. She's sticking her tongue out, smelling what's going on. She's not really bothered with me being there now. Now, if you have a snake that's defensive or aggressive, and you're having an issue of constant striking, please remember this. Don't just grab them hard or anything, or don't just like hurry up and grab them real quick. It can hurt them. What I always recommend is, I'm not going to do it with her, but you see where her head is. Reach back about right here, and with her, I can do it. But you see how she can't turn that head and bite me? Gently grab it to where they can't turn that head and bite. Reach in.
Guys, please,
and support that body.
Please only do that if it is absolutely necessary.
Yeah, if it's absolutely necessary, then do that to keep the snake from biting you or harming itself. Let me go ahead and put her back in since I showed you that. And that's from personal experience. I've had to do that before with my children's python. But you see how she's now tucking her head? She's back in defense. She's wanting to... She's like, okay, I know you're there. Don't mess with me. But, like I said, what I'm going to do is, since her head's over there where I usually rub at, I'm going to rub from right here and show her that I'm not a threat.
And this isn't an aggressive pose, guys. The first one was a little bit of an aggressive pose.
Now, you see how she's kind of relaxing and moving around? She knows that I'm here. she knows that I'm touching her, so she doesn't feel as threatened. With her being a larger snake, please remember with a bigger snake like her, when she is a subadult, grab just like this and support. Always support the snake's body. Do not just grab them from the center and just lift them up, because then that snake can slip out of your hands. I'm going to return her hide to her cage so that if I have to put her back in pretty quick, she can get in her hide and feel comfortable.
Now guys, if your snake is like that, don't be afraid of them. Just know their body language. Our next one is on how to read the body language. So, there's no reason to get scared of them. You get scared of them, they will know it. They will do whatever they can.
They can sense fear just like any other animal. If they sense fear, they're going to feel like they're threatened, and they're going to strike you. And the bite doesn't hurt, but it's still the element of surprise. They are very, very sneaky. They will let you know. As you guys can see, she's moving around. She's relaxing. One of the ways that I usually look for with Xena whenever she relaxes is if you look at her butt, she has it wrapped around my arm. She's holding on. She's happy. She's actually relaxed and hanging onto my arm. She's chilled out now.
She is head shy, so if you guys have a head shy snake, until they get comfortable with you, do not go near their head if you don't have to.
You see how I'm doing now, where she's got her head right there with my hand? Only reason I do that because I have her to where, yeah, she's still a little head shy, but she can move her head on my hand like she wants to and still be comfortable. But as you guys notice, I still have her body fully supported. I am not letting any part of her body just drop and just grabbing one part of her body. See how she's moving around? I'm going to support her head and her butt and still have a hold of her body. And that's going to show her that she's safe and that she's not going to fall and get hurt.
And this is her being comfortable, guys. This is what she does on a daily basis with being handled. Once you have her out and she realizes she's okay.
Now, one of the things I want to show you with a head shy snake is if she'll do it, I'm going to let her go on her own.
Good
See how
girl.
she's laying her head in my hand now? That's what you want with a head shy snake. You want them to feel comfortable enough to put their own head in your hand. Once they get comfortable like that, they'll start to realize that you're not there to harm them, that you're not going to hurt their face or their head. As you guys can see, she's getting comfortable. She's really excited. Xena and I are going to wrap this up. I'm going to put her back in her enclosure, but I'm going to show you the difference between putting her in and what I do with Patty. With Xena, she's actually wrapping it up on my hand.
She wants to stay up. You
can't stay out, Mama. I got to go get food for your sister.
And guys, yes, as you just heard, it is feeding day for Patty, so that will be, we have to go run and get her food, and then we'll be feeding her a little bit later.
But you see how I kind of let her hang her head, and I still have support of her body and her tail? I'm going to entice her by laying her by her hide. Okay, there she goes. She already has her head in her hide, but as you can tell, she's got her tail wrapped around my hand for comfort and for security. Now that she's mostly in her hide, I'm going to lay her body down against the substrate gently and let her move herself in there.
And guys,
never just drop their body. It will injure their internal organs, and it can hurt them and kill them. Please remember this to keep them safe.
If your ball python does wrap up on your hand or your arm, don't get scared. It's just something they do to hold on. And one other thing before he wraps up is you can bring them outside with you, but just be aware of the temperature outside, because if it's 55 like it is here today, it is too cold.
Yeah, always keep your temperatures in mind. Like I mentioned in the last video about daily care requirements on temperatures, if it's under 75, they're going to be cold. the lowest you can really go whenever it's outside is 70 degrees, depending on where you're at. I don't do it. I do it at 75 or above for outside temperatures. These girls will go outside and sit with me for about an hour to an hour and a half, usually 30 minutes at the least, depending on their body language and how comfortable they are. But please keep it in mind whenever you take them out, it gives them enrichment. You can sit with them in the sun. It's fresh air for them. Things like that. Yeah, I have air circulating in my room at all times for them. With my fan going, my air conditioner on. They have their heat, so they can get warm if they need to. But remember, if you take them outside, don't just like set them down and then think, oh, I'm going to go do this. Not a good idea. They will escape. They will take off. Keep close eye on your reptiles. Lizards, snakes, anything. They are escape artists. Let's wrap it up today. We will see you guys soon with our next videos.
Should be how to read the body language.
It's going to be, the next one is how to recognize body language. I'm going to do it with both of the girls. Because they both show different body languages whenever they're being handled and stuff like that.
That one
or
will
whenever
have
they're reaching in their enclosure.
Wait till Sunday to be recorded.
Then I'm going to show you the difference between aggressive and defensive and how to respect those
Guys,
signs.
we may actually, depending on what's going on in our life this weekend, we may actually flip-flop those two, and we may do the difference between aggressive and defensive first. We've had a lot of questions about, is my snake being defensive or are they being aggressive, so we may actually switch those two.
Yeah, we may switch it up, and then I'll teach you how to recognize which one they're being. And then after that, we'll be getting into how to tell if your snake's going into a shed, how to weigh them, and how to properly feed, and their rest period. So, whenever I do all those, the weighing and feeding will be done on a Friday. And I'll show you how to weigh, how I weigh them, how I feed my girls. With Xena, she's a little bit different. I take her out of her enclosure to feed her. You don't have to with your snakes, like I'll show you with Patty.
We mainly do it with Xena because of the fact that she is cage aggressive or defensive. So to kind of curb that situation until we get her completely tamed down and she's okay with us reaching in, we don't really like to feed in the enclosure when they're like that because it encourages it. Not every snake's going to do that. Patty's completely fine with it, but if you do have one that's already aggressive, already defensive over their cage, it's usually better not to feed in the enclosure.
But remember, I was talking about my children's python. He was cage aggressive. Every time you opened his cage, he thought it was feeding time. So I had to remove him from his enclosure to feed him in a different area. So he didn't think that every time his enclosure was open, it was time to eat. I had to work with him a lot on that. It actually came out great. Then I was able to rehome him to another friend of ours. But we're going to wrap it up, guys. If you have any comments or questions, drop them below in the comment section. Subscribe, like, and hit that bell notification. Whenever I post more videos, you'll get a notice. Go to my reptile page, AIR Reptile Rescue. On Facebook, leave me a comment or a question there. I'll answer them accordingly and in timely fashion. If you have a rescue you want to bring to me, on my reptile page is my phone number. Text me. I will answer your text. You tell me, hey, I've got a rescue I need you to take in. Bring it to me. I'll take it. I'll be glad to help you guys out. If you have an emergency situation you need advice on, and you can't get a hold of me on Messenger immediately, text my phone. I don't accept phone calls from just strange numbers. Text me and say, hey, I have an emergency with my snake. I see that text pop up. I'm going to answer you. I'm going to answer your question. I'm going to give you the advice I feel is necessary. If it's take your snake to a vet, or if it's, hey, do this, do that, I'll tell you what to do. And I'll tell you from personal experience. I'm not going to tell you as an expert. Yes, I'm a veterinary technician. No, I'm not a reptile expert. I don't specialize just in these guys. So, I will give you sound advice that comes from personal experience only. You guys have a great rest of your day. Y'all stay safe. If you're in Louisiana, hopefully you didn't have too much damage from the hurricane. If you did, hopefully y'all can rebuild soon and get home and have fun and keep your reptiles safe, guys. We'll see y'all later.
And happy Halloween a day early.
Yeah, happy Halloween because we love it here.